3 years earlier, the death penalty for first-degree murder was abolished. In its place came exile. Criminals are now deported to San Bernardino Island, better known as Prison Island. The waters surrounding it are filled with naval mines, and the only safe route is guarded by a military destroyer. Escape is meant to be impossible. The journalist introduced the inmates recently sent there. Bobby, convicted over a massive robbery. Lee Phillips, who bombed a bank. Eddie Collins, who killed a police officer. Bunny Gamble, who murdered her parents. Joyland, who poisoned her husband. And Dr. Norman Milford, labeled a serial killer. Then comes the latest exile, Carmen Sims, a television figure whose case is left deliberately vague. Carmen is transported by boat. A police officer reads her rights and drops her on the shore. What she sees first are the bodies of dead female prisoners floating near the coast. The message is immediate and clear. The island has no mercy. Carmen spends the night on the beach. She doesn't realize a man is watching her from the cliffs. She tries to light a fire but fails. The stranger finally comes down. The man offers her local tobacco. She refuses. He introduces himself as Dr. Milford and tells her around 40 people live on the island now. When Carmen asks how many are women, he replies with a dark joke, implying the number is always dropping. He also claims everyone on the island is a murderer, except him. He insists he's innocent. Carmen just smiles politely and stays on the shore when he leaves. In the morning, Carmen heads for the main settlement. At the same time, Bobby, the self-appointed ruler of the camp, steps out with his ruthless enforcer Monk. Carmen walks inside without fear and is instantly struck by the reality. Dozens of men, and only 3 women. Carmen tries to speak to one of Bobby's men. He attacks her instead, making it clear who controls this place. Carmen screams, but no one helps, not even the other women. That night they find her asleep on their bedding. A fight breaks out, but in the end they explain the truth. On the island, women are treated as the most valuable property. No one lets them leave. Carmen hates what she hears. She refuses to accept this system and promises herself she'll change it, but reality hits fast. The next morning she's sent to work in the fields like everyone else. After a brutal day of labor, Carmen asks if anyone ever fought Bobby. The women say some escaped, but no one knows whether freedom is any better than slavery here. Fights often break out among the men, and Bobby and Monk crush them with violence. The women are forced to build a storage shed. Carmen works until her hands bleed. Dr. Milford tries to help her, but guards drive him away. At night, Monk announces the women must work again, all except Bunny, who belongs to Bobby. In the morning, food is handed out. A fight explodes among the men. One dies, and his body is simply tossed from a cliff, burial, island style. Later, the women are taken to a stream to wash clothes. Suddenly, a group of armed rebels attacks. These are former prisoners who escaped Bobby's rule. They kill the guards and take the women with them. That night by the fire, the rebels eat hunted food and laugh at the thought of Bobby raging. For the first time, Carmen sees relationships forming by choice, not force. A violent man tries to start trouble, but the group shuts him down instantly. There is no abuse allowed here. Each morning, the rebels change camps to avoid being tracked. The women are tired of running, but they understand why it's necessary. At the stream, Lee finds saltpeter in the soil and explains how to make black powder with sulfur and charcoal. Real grenades. Carmen brings a poisonous vine and reveals she can make curare, a deadly toxin, a skill she learned from her grandmother. Back at the main camp, Bobby orders every inch of the island searched. Eventually, his men attack a rebel camp. A savage battle follows. Some are killed. Cornell stays behind, fighting Monk so the others can run. One man is badly wounded. Another runs for Dr. Milford and brings him back. But it's too late. The rebel dies. They bury him. The group realizes they can't keep fleeing forever. Bobby has to be destroyed. Lee continues making grenades. Carmen finishes the poison. Dr. Milford decides to remain with them. In Bobby's camp, a prisoner builds a crude radio. Bobby hears that a police supply boat is arriving in the morning. Bunny wanders off and is captured. Bobby's men tie her to posts near the sea. Bobby beats her with a belt while the others watch, helpless. A police boat lands with supplies. One officer rushes to help Bunny. At the same moment, a prisoner swims to the boat, kills the remaining officer, takes his rifle, and opens fire on shore. Bobby's gang emerges armed. They leave one guard at the boat and return to their camp with weapons. The rebels decide their only chance is by sea. One man swims over with a blowgun and silently kills the guard. They take the pistol and drain fuel from the boat. That night by the fire, Dr. Milford tells the truth. He was convicted for disconnecting a patient who was already brain dead. He refuses to return to the world that punished him for mercy. At dawn, the rebels approach Bobby's camp. But it's empty. They move into position anyway. Women prepare gasoline canisters. Bunny is meant to flood the bunker and ignite it. A toilet explodes first. Panic erupts. Bobby and Monk open fire. In the crossfire, Cornell's death is avenged, but more fall. Lee charges with a grenade. It explodes, but Bobby survives and shoots her in the back. Wounded Monk reaches Bobby's bunker. They argue while shooting back. Bunny freezes in panic and forgets her job. When she finally moves, she's shot. Dr. Milford carries Bunny to safety, then runs alone to the fuel lines. He opens them. He lights the fire. Gas floods the tunnels. The bunker detonates. Bobby staggers out in flames and dies. Eddie sees Monk and wants to kill him, but stops when he realizes Monk is blind from the explosion. Peace settles on the island. The survivors rebuild. Even blind Monk is given work, carrying water. Officers arrive asking for Dr. Milford. The group tells them Milford is dead. He chooses not to leave. The island is his home now. Another woman steps onto the shore. She is greeted with the words, "Welcome to Prison Island." The film belongs to the 1970s women in prison era, stories where injustice, rebellion, and survival collide, and where women ultimately fight for their dignity and freedom.